So welcome everybody to this momentous meeting. I am Dr. Pauline Crawford, the president of the Rotary Club of Global Impact. Woo! And a little known fact that you all don't know is in 1992, which is a long time ago, I was invited to be the president of the Federation of Image Consultants in the UK. I actually didn't want to do it. Everybody on the committee resigned and they all said, it's you. But I did take up that role and it was actually for 2 years. So I do believe that I can do this for this next year. And I want to say a special thank you to Marty, where is he? Over there in the car, for his stupendous, phenomenal foundation of this club some 16 months ago. And he reminded me today on a call that when I went to the PETS training, which is short for President-Elect's Training, not my pet, my dog, I was actually standing in the room as potential presidents, and we made a commitment, a vow to be a good president. So I am fully installed here. And I just want to say a special welcome to our guest speaker, Assaad, who's in Lebanon, and also to one of our newest members, Shankar, who's also a long way away from me on the west coast of India or east coast. Anyway, we'll get a map, make sure. Okay. So I also want to make a special thank you to Marty and also to Stormy, because without Stormy, there wouldn't be any Marty, as far as I know. So well. And also I want to say a huge thank you to Patty, who is the most amazing woman, who is our Jennifer awardee, which is a special award, Assaad, which you may not know, but it's a special award set up by Marty, and it's about a woman of substance and a lot more. So I want to thank you, Patty, for being that, but also for being an incredible, more than a cog in the wheel, but the secretary of this club. And also to Isiak, did I say that right?
Yeah, it's Isiak. You'll get there.
I am practicing the names. But for your stalwart work, actually making sure that everything goes smoothly, that the banners are ready, and dealing with all of us, asking you to do things when you're in the middle of your night and we're in our daytime. So I want to thank you for always being amazingly obliging and smiling. And not least, but Ritu, who is my amazing events champion, who gets in touch with speakers and who's a great advisor here, and all of you. So Doris, it's really wonderful to see you, Doris Elaine Smart, and my friend Faraz, my partner in crime in many, many events, which I'll share with you. So we're going to kick off this meeting by actually starting with our speaker. And I think what I'd love to do is to invite Ritu to introduce our speaker. And I know that Assaad has got some wonderful slides to share with us. And I am recording this, so the recording will be going up on a Google Drive, and then we'll go onto our website at some point. So I would like to invite Ritu as our events champion to introduce our speaker.
Okay, well, thank you, Pauline. Very welcome, Dr. Assaad Mounzer. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Mounzer, thank you. Thank you. Well, welcome. Dr. Mounzer, I want to take this opportunity to share the information you have provided. If we miss anything, please feel free to let us know. If there's anything else that you have been working on. So we'll be more than happy to update our recordings while we share with an extended Rotary members and friends. So yeah. Dr. Mounzer is a board-certified urologic surgeon turned ICF certified coach, author, and renowned speaker, specializing in personal development workshops. After experiencing burnout in his medical career, he transitioned into professional coaching and mindfulness teaching to help others manage stress and align their lives with value and purpose. Outstanding, Dr. Mounzer. I can align with you. I have the same story, but it's a burnout from IT industry and doing something different, similar to you. So, as a member of the ICF since 2017, Dr. Mounzer holds a master's degree in spiritual psychology, focusing on consciousness, health, and healing. His mission is to bring more compassion, kindness, and gratitude to the world and help people tap into their inner strength and wisdom. Dr. Mounzer has authored 2 books, a poetry collection titled Secrets Buried in the Sand, and a self-help guide, Burnout to Engagement. The latter delves into the physiology of stress, the importance of self-care, and how mindfulness can promote neuroplasticity and enhance emotional intelligence. Okay. With that, I welcome you, Dr. Mounzer, and stage is yours.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Richard. Would you like to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. I want to thank everyone for your welcome and your introduction, and thank you for inviting me.
Dr. Assaad, we can't hear you.
You can?
Yeah. Can you make your sound louder?
Just a second. You can hear me better now?
Yes.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, those things don't work all the time. So just as an introduction, me and Firouz were co-chair of the Peace Committee in our district last year, District 7680. Istiak, I just realized he is from our district. So we talked a lot about the positive pillars of peace, and we prepared the International Peace Day. But in my mind, I always had that idea that inner peace is so important and it's part of global peace. Not many people agreed with me, so I didn't have the chance to talk a lot about mindfulness and inner peace. So when you asked me to talk to your club, I said, well, I mean, that's a good opportunity to at least, express my ideas about peace and how inner peace can create outer peace. So that's where all this came from. So I'm going to share my screen. Interestingly enough, I went online to find a definition of inner peace, and I found good stuff. I found that you were going to start the show from the beginning. So I decided to talk a little bit about inner peace, about relaxation, a little bit about stress, just in a very brief introduction, because time is a factor here. So I already introduced myself. So inner peace is really a state of calmness, inner calmness, and and tranquility on the inside. So having no suffering or mental disturbances, which I think is unrealistic all the time to have no suffering or mental disturbances. But most of the time, people who have inner peace can deal better with whatever is happening around them. In some culture, inner peace is like an experience of higher consciousness and knowing oneself. So it's more about like a personal growth experience, which can create inner peace. When I went to Wikipedia, I love this definition. It says here, through inner peace, genuine world peace can be achieved. Isn't that what we're working on? So I was so happy to find this, because it does really fall in line of what I believe, that we have to start with inner peace to be able to create outer peace around us. And so it's important to create it first within ourselves. And I was happy to find that definition, so I wanted to share it with you. And of course, inner peace is like it's a peace of mind. It's how we respond to stressors, because stressors are always there. There are always things in the environment, with other people, in our in society, which create stress within us. So they're always going to be there. And the most important thing is to know how we respond to them instead of reacting. And we'll see the difference in a minute. So inner peace, peace of mind or inner calm, is like when you feel at ease within yourself. Like whatever is happening around you, it doesn't affect your inner calm. And in mindfulness, it's called equanimity. And equanimity for me, it's like at the depth of the ocean. It stays still, although waves are raging at the surface. So that's what inner peace means to me. So whatever is happening outside is can you still hear me?
Yes.
So whatever is happening outside does not affect your inner peace. Inner peace also is important when you have self-compassion, because if we don't have self-compassion, although we are taking care of other people, we may get empathy fatigue. And so loving kindness and compassion, which are also keys of mindfulness, start with oneself. And we'll talk a little bit more about the keys of mindfulness. And people who have peace of mind also are more resilient. So whatever life tosses their way, they can recover quickly, so they are more resilient. So that's important as well. And I love this also quote from John Borisenko: every day brings a choice to practice stress or to practice peace, which is interesting. That really it is a choice. Yeah, it is my choice to be peaceful or happy. It is my choice if I want to get stressed out. Sometimes, it's unconscious because we are used to react in certain ways. But once we become aware of our emotions, that's when we have a choice. Then we can decide, how do I want to show up in the world today? What do I want to practice? Do I want to practice calmness, or I want to practice anger? Do I want to show up with the kindness, or do I want to show up with judgment, and whether it's self-judgment or judgment of other people? So it is a choice, and I like that. And so before we get to the slide, I'm talking a little bit about stress. Do you think, any one of you could answer, do you think stress is always negative? No, I see heads moving. Yeah, no, stress is not always negative. Give me an example of positive stress. Anyone?
Exercising?
Yeah.
Exercising, yes, exercising is good. It's positive stress. It increases your adrenaline, but at the same time, it increases your endorphins and make you feel good. So yes, positive stress, exercising is positive stress. What else?
Adrenaline.
Yeah, adrenaline, when you're excited about something, whether you're preparing for a talk or you're preparing for a gymnastic event, a gymnast, elicit that fight or flight response in a positive way, because they want to get ready. They get their adrenaline increasing, they become more dynamic, their muscles have more blood flow, dopamine is increasing, they become more motivated. So those are examples of positive stress. That's very true.
The stress
Yes, go ahead.
of like a
The
wedding,
stress,
a big
wedding,
day.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, preparing for a christening or a wedding or a party is also a positive stress, because we're excited.
Learning,
positive stress-
learning is also a stress. Learning to, learning something that you don't know can be stressful, but that's positive.
Exactly, because learning, you're working your mind, and you don't know if you're going to get it or not, so you get more excited, and of course, motivation and mindfulness, dopamine improves our learning abilities, which is real nice. So when stress is short-lived and constructive and pleasant, it's positive stress, it's eustress. When it's chronic, which means when it lasts for a long time and it's not pleasant, it's painful, or it creates anxiety, then it's negative stress. We call it distress. So that's just to make it. And stress, stress, how do you define stress? Anyone could answer. How do you define stress?
It just hits you. I think, especially with burnout, it builds.
It builds, definitely.
Chaos.
And is it due to the outside or to the inside?
It's a mixture. It's how you react.
Yes.
It can be both.
So,
Yes.
so we create our own stress most of the time, because the stressors, what we call them, outside events are always there. People judging you, people not respecting you, people, doing things that you don't like. It's always outside. The way you respond to it is what's going to create positive stress or negative stress. And sometimes there are external factors where we don't have any control over those. Unfortunately, there is not much we can do, whether it's a natural disaster, a death, or, things like that. Those, there is not much you can do to change them, but still you have control over the way you respond to the event. So it is important to just to realize those things. So when you have more than you can handle, or you can't control the outcome, then it's stressful, and there is not much you can do about it. And sometimes if you don't have a purpose, is you wake up in the morning and you don't know why you're waking up or what you're going to do, by itself, it is stressful, And I heard someone say life without purpose is worse than death. So because sometimes it's like, okay, why am I here on this earth? And so it's important to have a goal or a purpose, even if it's a small purpose. It could be, shoveling the snow of my next door neighbor. It could be watering their plants. Anything, to feel alive and helping others. So our body responds to those stressors. And the first thing is our cortex, our brain, perceives the stress. Then the emotional response is processed in the limbic system, which we call the emotional brain. And I'll show you a picture. It's called the limbic system. The hypothalamus, it's like the control, the engine of all the body. That's where everything happens, and it sends orders to the rest of the body. And we'll talk a little bit about the sympathetic nervous system. This is the emotional brain, and this is the emotional brain in the middle. The emotional brain is like probably the most ancient part of our brain, because it helped our ancestors survive. There is a survival mechanism which happened here, because fight or flight means there is life or death. They have to kill the animal, or the animal is going to kill them. They need to find food. If they don't find food, their family will suffer. If the animal is too strong, they have to have the power to run away. That's why they call it fight or flight. So adrenaline helps with that, and it's so important. Something interesting here, which I didn't know much about before I started learning mindfulness, is called the amygdala. The amygdala is the center of stress and anxiety. And sometimes, although we said that the stress starts in the brain, sometimes there is what we call amygdala hijack, which means the event is so powerful that you don't have time to think about it, you immediately react. So immediately you trigger the amygdala, your adrenaline is pumping. Like, let's say if somebody is in danger, I want to save them. A mother who saw her child, under the car, or, just with the danger of being hit by a car, she runs and pushes him away. So that she doesn't have time to think. It's a survival mechanism for us and for helping other people. And I like that because later we'll find out about the neuroplasticity and why this is important. Hippocampus is a center of memory, and it also triggered during mindfulness, so our memory becomes better. Some studies with people who started having Alzheimer's, or not the full disease, but it helps. Mindfulness helps them delay the progress sometimes. So neurotransmitters are the messengers of our thoughts and emotions. Everything happening in our brain is a chemical reaction, believe it or not. So if we get upset, there are certain hormones which are triggered in our brain. One of them is adrenaline, one is dopamine, one is cortisol. So they get triggered, and they get secreted in our brain. There are neuropeptides, which are proteins. Some are short, like few amino acids. Some are long, depending on the molecule. So the first part of the fight or flight response is what we call central activation. We become more alert, vigilant. We have focused attention because we are ready to fight or flight. And that's because of the production of epinephrine, dopamine. Corticotrophin is secreted in the hypothalamus and the pituitary to stimulate the adrenal gland, the gland which is above the kidney, where cortisol and epinephrine and adrenaline come from. So those are, our blood is flooded with that, and it affects us in certain ways. Epinephrine causes constriction of the arteries, so our blood pressure goes up, our heart rate starts beating, our breathing starts beating, and our muscles get more blood flow, and they get contracted. The cortisol, sometimes, if it's a chronic stress, can inhibit the immune system. It can, affect the memory and the cognitive function, and it may make diabetes out of control. So those are some of the side effects of the fight or flight response and the hormone responsible for it. Now, when that happens, there is what we call a peripheral activation. And we're going to see later on why that's important, because our sympathetic system or autonomic nervous system sends fibers to every cell in our body. So stress affects every organ in our body. It's not only in our mind, it affects every organ on our body. That's why there are so many diseases from stress which may happen. So the peripheral activation, like we said, increased blood pressure, heart rate, increased breathing, increased muscle tone. So that's important. The other two neurotransmitters which are secreted during the fight or flight response are good hormones. One is a dopamine, which regulates attention, and it gives us motivation. So when we're preparing for an event, dopamine increasing, whether it's a gymnastic event, or whether it is learning, or whether it is preparing for a wedding, dopamine increases. Endorphins increases during the fight or flight response. And what's interesting, endorphins is your inner morphine. So you have morphine circulating in your blood. When you get angry and you're fighting with someone, sometimes you get hurt and you don't feel it. And after you finish the fight, you realize that, oh, how did I hurt myself? I see blood here, because of the endorphins. So endorphins eliminate the pain, and also gives us a sense of control. So it's one of the good hormones, but you don't want to get it out of control. It's important. Before I continue, I thought those, and I thought it's interesting to show just like a caricature about dopamine. It's a reward chemical. It gives you a sense of pleasure. Dopamine increases even after sexual activity or after a good meal. So dopamine increases, and so that's one of the positive stress. And I like that. So and also it says here, when celebrating your children to improve and increase their dopamine, give them positive feedback, always, congratulate them on a job well done. That will make them feel better and will make you feel better at the same time. The endorphins, like we say, it's a painkiller. So before I continue, I just want to ask if we have any questions, or anybody would like to share something from their experience.
I don't know that there are any questions. We're just keeping an eye on the time, Assaad. So
Okay.
Because so
Right.
if you need to kind of bring it to a close, and then we can open for questions, or would you like questions now?
No. Let me just see if there's anything else I need to. Okay. So hostility of your heart. So just to know that stress is harmful to your heart, it's important, and a lot of research have been done. And this is fascinating. 14% of doctors, 20% of lawyers who had high hostility score were dead by age 50, which is, it's shocking. And to define hostility, that's what it means. It means cynical mistrust of people in general, frequent experience of anger or rage, and overt expression of aggressive behavior. So it's so important to be aware of our emotions, to try to learn mindfulness in a positive way, learn the 4 keys of mindfulness, which are attention. We work a lot with values. We work with wisdom, and we work with the open heart, which is loving kindness, compassion, and empathy and equanimity. So those are the qualities which are important to focus on and to nurture in our life, in general, to become happier people. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and then we can you can ask question or put your question in the chat box, whatever is more comfortable for you.
So if everybody would like to unmute any questions, I think one of my questions is the last bit about hostility, because we don't have peace in our world, and there is a lot of hostility. How do we get these messages out to war zones?
The first thing about hostility is to learn how to learn acceptance, because equanimity and acceptance doesn't mean that you agree with what's happening, but it means that you see the facts and then you take a step to make it better. Sometimes all what you can do is start with yourself and your neighborhood. Start with inner peace, then talk to your neighbor, talk to your friend, talk to your coworkers, see, if they're reacting in a way that is, creating violence or rage or anger. Then you can recommend something, or ask them to see a therapist, or tell them to learn mindfulness, because a lot of mental health is increasing so much, and that's why inner peace is so important, and learning inner peace is important. Now, if there is a war somewhere else, unfortunately, all of what I can do is pray. I cannot prevent a war. I don't have the power to, but I can start with what's happening around me. And slowly, eventually people will get it. That's how I see it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the floor?
No, I think it's, Assaad, this is the first time I've heard your whole presentation. Very interesting, and I wish we could run it by all our politicians who make life and death decisions on our behalf all the
That's true.
time, because if they went through some more mindfulness thinking, we might not get as much suffering there is around the world.
That's very true. What you're saying, very true.
Dr. Mounzer, very well done, very well explained, scientific and spiritual factors that coming into it. So my comment is here that I want to share is, yes, like you said, we don't have control to prevent wars, but the inner peace is very important. And especially the people who are suffering in war zones. Is there any message that we can extend to those people? What would you suggest that how do we help those people who are caught up in the turmoils of war?
You're right. To correct your question, we may be able to prevent war. I mean, we cannot stop it once it started because, it happens above our head. But I believe it's good to send, our peace fellows. It's good to send them to war zone without putting their life in danger. To talk to those people on both sides. I mean, that's one suggestion I just had in mind, because those peace fellows are so well trained and so and there are a lot of peace fellows other than Rotary in the world. A lot of people who love peace and who want to spread peace. And you remember one time, I think people held hands all over the world to create world peace. So there are many people in the world who want peace. It's good to get together and do something. Of course, a lot of effort have been to give them medication, give them food, get them to safety. That's so important. The problem is, and even the people who are fighting, the soldiers, I think sometimes they don't have much power because they take the orders. So we need to work on those higher people and like Feroz said, we need to start with our politician, we need to start with our Congress, we need to start, with the presidents all over around the world to teach them somehow the positive pillars of peace, the mindfulness, how to create compassion, how to be compassionate, because all what they're doing is about power, power, money, whatever. It's not about loving kindness or compassion or caring about others. So I think that's the message we need to spread: compassion, caring, and wisdom, awareness of that. We can make that world better in certain ways.
Absolutely. Unless there are any other questions, I would love if, and thank you so much, Assaad, for bringing this, because one of my missions for this Rotary year is around both education and peace. And so I would love you to congratulate you for sharing the information with us and to stay with us, because I would like to present some ideas to the club now, and they do involve peace movement and peace fellows. And I've learned a lot about this from Feroz. I have to say thank you, Feroz, for introducing me to some of these ideas. My mission in the world,
of course. Thank you.
My mission in the world is authentic harmony. And one of my feelings is that in my own work, which is about men and women, we won't have peace unless men and women understand each other. But that is a sidebar to why people go to war. I have no idea why men go to war, and it is mainly men, but let's not go to that. I was born in 1949, so post World War II. And so I can't believe how many wars that we have had since then and still have. So I would like to invite you all to watch a show that I put together, and I would love if those of you who are on here can put your camera on an occasion, because after my presentation, I want to take a photograph. But what I've just discovered is that when you look at the recording on Zoom, if it's only a voice, you don't get a picture. So only those who show their face will be on the screen, which is quite interesting. And Anna, would you like to ask a question before I start my presentation?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Pauline, and salam to Dr. Assaad Mounzer. My name is Anab Ali. I am originally from Somaliland, and I wanted to ask you, Doctor, the subject is very positive and very, mashallah, very good. I was thinking as you were speaking about back home and how two very brotherly families are fighting. It started in February, and after 6 months, they are still fighting. And it's very heartbreaking and very sad. Both of my mother's side, my family side, they're fighting. They're literally uncles and nephews because of tribal. Because and Doctor, I know, I think you know the culture background and the tribal, and it's very, very sad. It's heartbreaking. Where do we even start? Social media doesn't help. There's too much tweet about this is making making the other every group is making the other group, they are the villains and they are the monsters, and
Right,
it's
of
just
course,
so sad.
of course.
So sad.
I
Where do we
think
start?
Okay,
one just to
we need to
not to
start
take too
here.
much time. One thing I can recommend is to take each person separately from both family, each one separately, and talk to them like somebody who is like a peace fellow or somebody who is wise, to talk about them separately and individually. And once you convince each one separately, then they can probably get together. So that's another suggestion it just came to me, but I understand exactly what you're saying and where you're coming from.
It is.
It's such a totally different subject, and
Yes.
it was going to take a long time. You know, we may cover it later on.
Well, I think one of the things that we have the opportunity with our club, because, thank you, Anab, is that because we're across the world, that as we get to know each other more, we need to make sure that we have conversations without judgment, which, as many of you may know, is a passion of mine. If I want to share some ideas, and I would love your feedback after I just share. I've been thinking about what it means to be here with you all, and my mission here is to enrich our world through the power of authentic harmony. So hopefully it supports exactly what we've talked about this morning. Conversations of no judgment, trying to understand why warring parties just don't even talk to each other. Understand how we get them in the same room in order to be knowing each other more. So doing good in the world, which is all about what Rotary is about and our club. I want to just give you a few of my thoughts on the year ahead, that life is what you make it. This is my theory, and service is about tuning into others. So it is about Rotary being service above self, but I think it's very much about understanding how we tune in. So there's 3 simple steps. Know who you are individually as a member of this club or a guest or a visitor. The value creation will grow when we tune into each other. So let's make sure we model what we want in the world here, and transform our power source with love. I'm sure we all agree with that. Now, I had the privilege of going to Houston Convention last June, not this June. And I also went to PETS training, so you can see me being enthusiastic here. But I love the motto for this year, which is create hope in the world. And as we all know and remind ourselves of what the 4-way test is it the truth? Do we want peace in the world? Is it fair to all concerned? I think it is to have peace. Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Of course. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So it's a neat question when we say, why is the world at war? Why do people argue? Why do people get stressed when we're all those people? So the future is ours to create. Now, specifically here in our club, and I want your view on this, as president, I would like to have 2 different types of meeting today, which is our second Tuesday, and hopefully live stream. We're not live streaming it today, but we need some technical assistance there from Marty, but to live stream the speakers, and we will actually put this recording out as a replay, but to really spread the word, in our second Tuesday meeting, because then we reach a global audience and we really listen to different parts of the world. Because I know, Anab, you are in America, but your country is far away. My home country is far away. So we live in this space of being in different places. I see myself as a global citizen. Unfortunately, I don't have a global passport, which is a limitation, I think, but there we go. But the other meeting, the fourth Tuesday of the month, I would like it to be a private members meeting so that it's only members and we really get to resource what we have inside the club. And in that respect, we're talking about understanding what your passion project is. So those of you in the meeting and those watching this on the replay, what is your passion project? And how can we use that to support what the club is about? I think it was famously said by Kennedy, not ask what the country can do for you, but what you could do for the country. So I'm going to use the same adage. Not what the club can do for you, but what you can do for the club. And I know out of 30 plus people, we've got amazing, amazing talents and skills that we're not utilizing yet. So what I'd like to look at your passion project, and Patty has put a survey together, which we will just adjust slightly about the Rotary pillars, but that will be something for everybody to fill out. And the idea is that we want to get to know not what your title and your credentials are, but what's your passion? What's going on inside? What's that amazing skill that you were born with that anybody may not know yet? What is it we don't know about you that you can share and that would be useful? One of my visions is for us to actually really look at education in a broader sense, because it's one of the Rotary pillars, but also combined with what I call enterprise building. So how do we get people, especially our younger youth, and I don't mean kids, but the young adults, and get them talking with the oldies like me, intergenerational. And I'm not including any of you who may or may not be as old as me, but we're of different generations here. And I think it's really important in this current world where we've got war and we've got toxic behavior, we've got violence against women. We need to utilize everything we've got here. And this, I think, will align with creating hope in the world, which is our Rotary International President's mission. So in terms of education, I'd just like you to note here that you'll see Faraz and myself on that banner. We're involved online with a youth education exercise, which is, these are college kids. And this lovely guy, David Douglas, is a member of Rotary in Accra. I'd like to suggest we have a twin clubbing with David and his club. And maybe we look at a grant or global grant of different Rotary groups who want to get together to look at advancing this education. And I don't mean in a formal sense of education, I mean in enlightening our next generations to take on the mantle of economic development and social impact. Because if you get a group of 18-year-olds in the room, there's 2,500 kids that will be in this exercise that David's doing. Half of them are female, and those females have not got into baby making yet. So in my passion to understand peace and authentic harmony, I want us to maybe do projects in the US or in Africa, Somaliland, wherever it is, Ghana, where David is. Actually, how do we combine the inspiration of the 20-year-olds with the wisdom of the 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds, which I am, and make sure that we create harmony in the world? Now, actually, with David Douglas in Ghana, Faraz and I are involved with a peace conference next February in Accra. And I know that that is Rotary International Peace Month. So we would like to propose that we look to how we can support that as a club, as well as hopefully Faraz and I actually going there. And I said, my mission is that unless we get peace between men and women, we won't get peace in the world. That's my personal mission, because there is a lot of violence against women and girls across the world. Women are still the marginalized group of the world, and we need you guys to be supporting us and wise with us. So these are various things I want to talk about as we go forward. things like just knowing or collaborating with the Red Card campaign. It's a campaign to stop violence against women and girls, but various things that are about a new narrative. So I hope supporting the mindfulness we talked about today. We've got to get to know yourself. That's the first stage of peace. Tune in to others, understand your passion projects. We'll gather those survey results and find out how we create our new Rotary Club of Global Impact. I would like us to really make a big impact in the world. And I'll leave you with this picture because I love this little girl. And she just says, why can't we just all get on?
I love that.
That is my point of view. When I saw this picture, I thought, that is so good. So the conversations I want us to have will always be non-judgmental, no anger, and no coercion until we get to the action point. Obviously, we're going to take action, but it very much supports what Assaad has shared with us today. And that for me is really important. Personally, I'm looking at cracking the leadership code. This is my own business. And I want us to make sure that we crack the walnut open, that walnut which has got all our amygdala and all the bits that you were talking about, Assaad, and actually make sure that we get to this harmony. So this is my mission, and I hope you support that, and that together we will make a difference in the world.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's very nice.
So one of the things that's important, and we still got time here, Patty has put together a survey, which you sent out, didn't you, Patty?
Yes.
That's fantastic. And there are 7 pillars in Rotary. I have to check in with.
It's already there. Yep. Environment.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I was trying to work out what they were. And we need to be able to know them off by heart. And I have to confess, I don't know that yet. But I will check in with mature Rotarians. And by that, I mean that with total respect for everybody who's been in Rotary a lot longer than me. I just wanted to share a little bit about me. I don't know that many of you have met her, but there's a lady called Maria Rosa Carrion, who is now heading up a club, Supreme Club of Manila, as I believe as governor. Anyway, she was the one who introduced me to Rotary in February 2020. February 2020, if you can remember what was happening in the world.
COVID.
I flew to Manila without realizing the pandemic was coming. And in fact, I landed in Hong Kong, and my son, who's British, sent me a text saying, what the are you doing in China? I said, I'm not in China. Oh, yes, I'm in Hong Kong airport. Oh, and I didn't realize what was coming. I hadn't even heard any of the news, but I met Bing that week, and she persuaded me that Rotary was absolutely the most amazing thing to join. And I wasn't sure how to do that, seeing as I lived in the US and she was in Manila, but I did join there. And I didn't do anything for a year until I met Marty. And I met Marty through WhatsApp groups. I don't know how it was, but we were talking. And in fact, I said, oh my God, I'm a member of this club in Manila. What do I do? So Marty was really astute. He said, right, we'll get on a call with Bing. And we're swapped round. So we transferred her into our club as an honorary Rotarian. And I'm an honorary over there. And I'm obviously a member of our club. So even getting to know that, I didn't understand how that worked. But she is also an Arch Club member, which I believe you are as well, Rose. So very, very strong Rotarian influences that we have around us. And I would like our club to be even more well known, not just in the district, because I don't live in the district. And I'm fortunate I did meet everybody in the district who came to the Houston conference, including Froz. But I'd like us to be heard by Gordon McAnally, who is from my side of the pond, from Scotland, which is just above where I come from in London, England. And I would like us to be able to attract his attention for the work that we do in terms of education and peacemaking. and making sure that we focus on the, women and elevating women into a very strong place of consciousness. And I am, as Patty reminded me, I kind of forgot, I'm the first female president of this club.
Yeah.
And Patty will be the next female president of the club. And with any luck, we might have a female after that. So we may have a run of, and it's not about females taking over the world, please assure you. But it is about getting that integration and that balance, because we all have amazing talents to bring. And I was just exploring with Assaad at the beginning before we started that, and I believe this is true, that men have the capability to think nothing. And women do not have the capability to think nothing. We are thinking the whole time. And maybe in a meditative state, we do find some quiet and nothingness, but it is something that the percentage of women in this club will make a difference to this club, I can assure you. And that's all down to Marty's passion to share the world with us women. So thank you, Marty. And I think
they were very surprised yesterday when I was at the podium speaking about our club in Hershey, Pennsylvania, to the Rotary Club, and 100-year-old club, that we have almost 70% women, and that we're 57% minority inclusion. They were shocked. I was speaking to a legacy classic club. Wow.
So one of the things we have to be able to prove to the world is that having this very strong mix of women and men, that we do actually understand each other, and that we can draw together the harmony that I believe. And somebody said, in order to be global citizens, we need harmony. And I think harmony infers peace. Mm-hmm. So I'd love any comments on what I presented and how you see this going forward. And maybe if anybody would like to share an insight into something that they are, that we don't know about.
Well, first of all, can I just jump right in here and say, congratulations, Happy New Year's, Happy New Year's, and kudos to you for a great start, great initiatives, beautiful presentation, and I'm really excited to stand right by you, next to you, with you together. We will achieve more. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Pauline, wonderful start of the year. And as you said, and Marty, I mean, women and men, we are part of the families, we're part of the society, we're part of the equation. Whatever we are fighting for, just or unjust, but the facts are, we are here and just work together. And what a wonderful way of authentic harmony to bring into the mix here. And I wish you so much success, and we are with you to support every step of the way we can. Take this message far and wide.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Pauline, I just wanted to say congratulations, Happy New Year, and that the mark of every great leader on earth is their successor, and their successors behind them would do better and greater things than they ever accomplished. That is the true mark of a leader. And if you're not doing that for people underneath you to make sure that they do better than you ever did, you're not a leader. So I want everybody to do everything they can to make sure the next two ladies are tremendously successful beyond anything I accomplished.
Thank you, Marty.
I also want to join the group and congratulate you, Dr. Pauline. Very happy that you will be leading us. Thank you.
It's good to have you here, Doris. It's always good. The maturity of our group, I love it. I love being 74, but I like having other people around me who are not too young. Anab, you've got your hand up. Do you want to say something?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
Where am I? Oh gosh.
But don't worry, as long as you're okay.
Dr. Pauline, I just want to thank you and congratulate you, and what a gift you are for all of us. I'm so far away and you emanate so much of radiance and brilliance. And I'm really, really lucky to be part of this group. And please reach out. And I don't know much about this, but I'm totally open to see how can we all get along? Why can't we all get along together on this planet? And just let me know and I'll do my best from here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Pauline, just my thoughts, wonderful start. You got the right themes for us. I think as our new RI president, he and I went to the same university, by the way, in Scotland, said, peace is the soil in which hope will flourish, will grow.
Wow. Yeah, I like that.
So I think by laying down the foundation of peace and harmony and so on, plus the fact that, in this world, what people fear is the unknown. And most of that unknown is the ignorance about other cultures and other peoples from around the world, their histories and their backgrounds. And our group represents so many different cultures. We could be very powerful if we bring together people from, all the different countries, add a few more countries, hopefully, and, share our different cultures with each other also, because that's what we should be celebrating, are the differences amongst us, between us, rather than fearing them. And I think we have a terrific foundation that Marty has set and that you are building upon. So I'm delighted to be part of the team.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Pauline, may I just say one more time, thank you for wanting to know us, because you really are starting, I'm going to cry.
Oh,
I was just doing my secretarial job, and not until I was actually like doing it, it really struck me like that you went out of your way, because that day that you presented those questions, you wanted to have a Selah moment, as they say, to really think about the questions that they're important. There weren't many. So if you really care about our initiatives here as a Rotarian, go ahead and be mindful of your answer, but please submit that form and let's get this show on the road and support our wonderful, amazing leader, Dr. Pauline Crawford.
Thank you. And I think that's a very important point, Patty, that when I take the recording down, and I might need your help as a tech, Isiak, I'm practicing your name. I would like to encourage more people to come to our meetings. So when I went to PETS training, I was not in the district. I was in California, in LA, and there was California, Arizona, Nevada, etc. And so everybody was saying, oh, where's your club? Where's your club? So I would say, my club is actually across the world. Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing. So everybody was amazed, and everybody was kind of curious about how does that work? So I think we need to make more of this. And I realized that in the Friends of Rotary WhatsApp, we have 129 people, but we only have 30 here. It's around 30. I'm sorry if I haven't got the exact number of members, but we need to work out how we can encourage more members to come, but also be active. So one of the practical points is to make sure that you have your Rotary Club profile, your Rotary profile on Rotary.org. I know I've done mine. I suspect quite a few people here have, but those people watching the replay, if you're a member and you receive this, then please go into Rotary.org and put your photograph up there and your profile, because then that creates more presence for us in Rotary International. And as you went to university with Gordon McAnally, for us, I want you to make sure that he knows about our peace event next February, and then to us to make the story about it so that we get heard more. Because the uniqueness that I discovered, always, the reason I joined, I didn't want to join a local Rotary Club. I wanted to join something that's global because I'm a global citizen. I'm a Brit sitting here in Nevada. some 12,000 odd, I don't know how many miles I am from where my kids are. But I lived in Malaysia for 4 years, and I'll share more about that another time. But I certainly saw the identity of different cultures, because when you travel and visit, go on holiday, it's not the same as living somewhere. I don't know what it's like to be in Lebanon. I don't know what it's like to be in other countries, but I've been in Malaysia for 4 years, and I've seen the world from a different point of view. Now I'm here in America, I see it from an American point of view. That's interesting. But I'd like to just say, because we come up to 9 o'clock exactly my time, must be midday in Eastern Standard Time, and I'm not quite sure what time it is for those of you farther away. But I want to thank you for being here. And I will try and take a photograph of the recording. Maybe, again, you can help me with that.
I think we can take one right now. You know, we can just say peace and that's it.
Is Anna, are you on the camera? Anna?
Anna, your camera is on the, it's looking towards the desk, so you need to turn on your selfie camera.
Doris, can you put your camera on?
Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry. Hello?
Oh, good.
Hello,
So we can hear you, but we can't see you.
We can't see you.
Yeah, I've been trying. Something went wrong with my
Oh.
Zoom. I was hearing you. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you
We
perfectly.
wanted to take a photograph of the screen.
Yeah, I know, but my Zoom gone crazy for some reason. And I'm
was
not
gonna-
acknowledging.
I was gonna say, if there's somebody that was here at the thing, Istiak could build a collage of people
Yes.
and make it look like,
Hmm.
you know, if they
Actually,
would
yeah,
be
I can do
here-
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
okay.
had to leave or they had to go.
Got it.
I'm
No worries.
trying. I'm trying. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. Don't worry about it. So how about this? All right, we all at least, you know, let's do a peace sign or something like that, and then take a. All right. So who can? Okay, give me a sec. One.
Okay.
My desk, my terrible desk. I'm
Okay,
so sorry.
done. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Thank
All
you
right.
all.
Thank
Thank you all
you.
very much.
Take care and see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
I will take the recording and put it on a Google Drive to you. Thank you all and have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you, everybody.
Yep.